Okay, guys, special update Sunday afternoon from the lanai, and it's a soggy lanai out there. We have an area hatched by the Hurricane Center right over top of Florida. And what they're saying is that this old frontal boundary that's going to be sitting over top of us over the next couple of days has about a 20% chance of eventually developing into something tropical. Okay. This would not be until at least Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And even then, I don't think it's a whole lot. So let's start with what's out there right now. Let me show you this. First of all, down here in the lower left-hand corner, that is Tropical Storm Barry. It's moving into Mexico later tonight. No big deal with that. For us, look at all this rain that's here. See all that? All those clouds? This is kind of the area that we'll be watching. All of this right in here. And what's going to happen is, well, we've got rain today. We're going to have some decent rain tomorrow. I think Tuesday we have a little bit of a break. But then this kind of reloads, and you'll have a whole frontal boundary sitting all across the northern Gulf and extending out over east of Florida. And that's just going to trap moisture. And this time of year, any time of year, well, this time of year, obviously, warm water. If that water is 80 degrees and you've got an old boundary sitting there, you watch those because those can create spin, and that can create tropical development. And that's the reason why the Hurricane Center, I think, has what they have. So let's jump into some of the models here, okay? First off, let's go with the European forecast model. All right, I'm going to take you a little bit of a bigger picture here. So you see Florida over here, right? Notice the rain that we're seeing today. This is more rain tomorrow, especially north of Tampa. Tampa's going to get some as well. We have a weather impact alert for today and tomorrow because obviously the rain's affecting you today and it will probably affect you tomorrow. Now Tuesday, this is Tuesday morning. Look at that northeastern Gulf of Mexico again. Still tons of rain out there, but I think a little less for over land. So we do not have a weather impact alert for Tuesday, but we will get some scattered showers. Now watch as we get into Wednesday, into the afternoon, into the evening, we start to really push the rain in. And then this is when we're going to start looking for, I think this is just a rainmaker, but it is going to be soggy. It is going to be a soggy week ahead. And then notice as we get into Thursday morning, you can clearly see, look at this, goes from here all the way over, right? That's basically the boundary. So as we get into Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, soaker. All right, Friday, same deal. You can see it is slowly sinking southward as we get into Friday afternoon. So initially this will be North Florida, Central Florida, and then South Florida, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Now, this is the European model. It says by Saturday that most of it's out of here, and we're starting to just get back to normal afternoon showers and storms. But it's not completely gone. And if you notice, it's still all sitting here. So there is the possibility that we even take this into next week. And then beyond all of that, and what happens in the weather world, patterns tend to repeat themselves. So let's go back out to now the 12th of July. Look what happens. We do this all over again. Look at that. That's the 13th of July, the 14th. Yeah, and most models are saying that we do this again. So, and that's definitely not out of the question. That happens actually a lot. We kind of repeat these patterns about a week and a half apart. All right, here is the European, but this is the AI version. There it is. Look what it's doing. It's trying to take more of it to the west by Tuesday, and then over us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, trying to take it off to the east. And then look at that. By Saturday, potential for development off the east coast of Florida. And then it kind of drifts it back towards Florida. It's all over the place, right? One way or the other, we're going to get rain. Here's the GFS forecast model. You can see it's today, tomorrow. This is Tuesday now. A little bit drier, but watch Wednesday. Here comes the rain Wednesday evening. That's Thursday. That's Friday. What you're not seeing on any of these models is any big low pressure system, a strong hurricane, or even a tropical storm at this point. They're just not showing that. But this is the GFS model. Remember, it's moving it to the west, it looks like now. Now watch what it does towards, let's go back out the date here. This is the 10th, the 12th, the 13th. We're doing it again. The GFS sees this trough coming down again. And that's what's happening. This is a little tough to see, I know, but we basically have a trough that's going to be sitting like right in here. And watch that area as I move this in. And that's what's focusing. See it spinning right there over North Florida, over the Gulf? That is what's helping to focus the moisture, to keep the boundary there. And then again, patterns repeat. So you go back out, you get to the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, and we're doing it all over again. All right, so let's talk ensemble models. This is the European ensembles. Watch Florida here. See it's popping something off this Carolina coast and taking it to the north and the east. But one model has it actually developing, look at that, right over or just to the west, right? So there will not be one here, one here, one here. These are different runs of the model, all shown at the same time. But that way you kind of get an idea of not only what the model's thinking, but also the uncertainty, right? You can see it's, for the most part, the European model by Saturday, Friday and the Saturday coming up, has something here. Okay, so let's go out a little bit, and then it tries to meander it right back in. All right, so that's by the end of next week. It's kind of far out there. This is the GFS model. Now watch what it does. It's trying to put a low there over the panhandle, right? And then just kind of sits it over. Now this would be non-tropical. It's over land, but it has a ton of tropical moisture in it, right? And there's not going to be a lot of wind. That's what I'm trying to get at here. But then it kind of meanders it. Guys, that was all the way through. That's a week from today, right? So let's back up. This is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's starting to really form that low. And then from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it keeps that low sitting right there. All right. The Canadian, for what it's worth. Show you some of the thoughts that it has. Kind of similar. This is Thursday, Friday. See, it comes something off the Carolina coast. And then by the weekend, it pops something up off the Carolinas. Something interesting, right? All right, this is the European forecast model and where its chances are some kind of tropical development, tropical depression probability at least. And this is 10 to 20% is what you're seeing here. And the Hurricane Center has it at 20% starting on Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. All right, now let's talk winds. So here you are. This is Tuesday over here. I don't see anything. See the yellows here on Wednesday? Southwest winds 15 to 20. Thursday, similar, maybe a little less on Friday, and even next Sunday. And this is just too far out in time. But right now, this is not like a hurricane sitting over top of us, okay? But this is something that we'll have to definitely watch for development, but I think it's a rainmaker more than anything else. Look at all of this moisture. This is the the GFS, what we call precipitable water. And notice this area from Wednesday going out to at least Saturday. Look at all of that. See all those reds in there? See all that right in there? That is a ton of moisture, well over 2 inches. Meaning if you squeezed out all the moisture up above us and put it into a bottle, you'd end up with 2 inches. So that's a ton of rain. That number needs to get to 1.75 inches for us to really get our rainy season going. It's well over that, right? So that when I see that, I think, well, you know what? We're probably going to get flood watches Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Could go into the weekend as well. And speaking of that, we do have what's called an excessive rainfall. This is for today. So this is a marginal, but that means at least 5% chance. Notice tomorrow it's not as bad. This is actually for Monday. That's Tuesday. Tuesday, I think, will actually be our driest day this week. And then here we go. That's Wednesday. There's Thursday. Friday will look very similar to that as well. In fact, Friday will probably have more yellow all across the whole state. All right, so this is a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, at least time frame. But do you know what Friday is? It's the 4th of July. I do think this will affect some of our fireworks. This is the rainfall totals through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday evening. So you can see some of these numbers in here are basically in the 3 to 4 inch. But I think what's going to happen is we'll probably end up with around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. Now that's through Saturday. I'm going to take this all the way out to next week, and it just keeps adding up. Look at the GFS. This is the GFS rainfall totals through, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All right, 4 to 6 in this area as well. Let's see some of those numbers. 4 to 6. Oh, why did it do that? That was weird. So I can just update it. Anyway, either way you look at it, we are going to be getting some rain. So that's it, guys. Don't forget to like this and share it. I appreciate you guys watching. We have weather impact alerts all the way through. I think Tuesday we do not have one. But for the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday weather impact alerts, that's to cover for the heavy rainfall. All right, it's going to get soggy around here. You can turn your sprinklers off. That's for sure.